you've got questions. Hopefully I have some answers. This week on Q&A Friday, we got some cool questions to answer. One about plants. Who doesn't like plants, right? One about demoing the rear door opening with the bed down, so demo number 1. We'll be inquiring about sheet sizes for the bed. That's a great question. We'll talk about that. We talk about using the propane heat system. Great question. And we talk about using the dash heat from the chassis as part of the heating system for overnight when it's cold, when the system is cycling, the Pier 3 system. So lots of great questions from you folks. Love Q&A Friday. Let's get into it right now. So hey, Go Small, Live Large viewers, thanks for tuning in today. Really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, and the questions are just rolling in. Channel growth is going crazy, and I just love Q&A Fridays. The ability to interact with you folks has just been tremendous. So a couple of big shout outs. Number 1, we've crossed the 2,000 mark on channel subscribers. That's a big deal, so thank you. Also, the RV claustrophobia video Q&A Friday from last week was my best performing video to date. Over 4,500 views of that video in less than 7 days, and that is off the charts amazing, and over 200 likes. So thanks to each and every one of you for that. That was a fun video to make, and that's why I just love Q&A Fridays, because it's you ask the questions, I will provide some answers and some demos. So that's what today's about, Q&A Friday. So the first question here comes from Maribeth P. Maribeth says, love the questions. Love the video. Thank you, Maribeth. Love the video. Questions for next time. How do you store your beautiful plants when driving, and can you demo opening the rear door when the bed is in the down position? Those are great questions, and let's talk about plants first. So Mary Beth, you asked some great questions on plants. Let's talk about this guy right here. So what this is actually a beaker that I found at Michael's. Nope, take that back. Found this at Hobby Lobby. And so it's definitely not Pyrex. It's certainly not lab worthy probably, but it was inexpensive. And this came from our house in Chicago. And what I have done is, this is just a clipping from a money tree. There's a backstory there. But I actually used to have this on the galley, but it was getting too big. And so I actually planted it, and I wasn't real happy about being planted in dirt because it was being used to being in water maybe. So what I've done is, this is actually a pot that I got from Target. I did kill that plant actually, and what I've done is I actually have adhered this to the table surface using, you guys ready for this? Using this modeling sticky compound. If you go to the tape and kind of adhesive hook section in your typical Target hardware Walmart, it's this weird plasticky, looking stuff that it's really stretchy, and you cut it and it goes, and you kind of form it, and then you press it onto things. This particular compound here holds 1 pound. So what I've done is I've actually stuck it to the bottom of the pot. So I got four bits here, and this holds the plant very securely. See how I done that? 4 little spots. And then I put it right here, and I give it a good firm press, kind of hold for just a second or two, give it another little press, and that's where the beaker goes. And if I had a potted plant, it would be the same situation. So everything you see that's on a horizontal surface, whether it's the Space Shuttle Atlantis, my crystal number 1 here, or my mariachi band, you guys got to see my mariachi band. Come on now. This came from San Antonio. Look at these guys. And gal, look at them. Are they the most amazing thing? Look at them. They've all got that modeling clay adhesive stuff. And here you can see it on the Space Shuttle, and on the number 1. So that's how I adhere the plants to the horizontal surfaces, just like I've done with my ship, which used to reside in the dash. But it was causing a reflection, so that was kind of annoying for you guys to watch, so don't want to do that anymore. So this is, again, modeling putty And this too is just a potted plant in the container here that has been using the same, you know, fixed clay, mounting tape clay onto the galley surface. So this goes really nicely. This does go up this way. It does have a little drag on the you know, little bind here on the propane, but I don't use this a ton, and if I'm careful with this, I think it's fine. So this is the more important one, the sink, and that fits just fine. So, oops, got some dishes there to do. So, great question. The plants are pretty happy. I've only killed 1 out of 3, so that's, yeah, so I've only killed 1 out of 3, so that's not too bad. And I just like having some greenery in here, right? It just makes it feel a little more organic to me. So the next question comes from New Wester. Hello, thank you for the question. Says, hi Scott, I have a Travato GL. I don't have to turn on the inverter to run Truma on gas only. Saves a lot of energy since the huge inverters in the L's use quite a bit of power. Compliments me on my egg flipping skills, which is an acquired skill. Anybody can do it. Thank you, Julia Child, for my egg flipping how-tos. New Wester, great point. And since that lithium-powered furnace video, I've actually used the Truma on DC power, propane only. And it's pretty simple to do, folks. Let me show you this. Have your propane turned on, and you set your heat. So blinking motorhome equals heat. Press the middle to accept. Turn the temperature up to, you know, let's make it warm here, so 80. And I choose the energy mode here to a gas. And then I choose the fan to, let's get it hot in here, to high. So now it is pulling off DC only, because you can tell because I don't have any service here. And if I turn this on, you can see that the Truma system is, or the PR3 system is disabled, so no 30 amp service, but I'm still generating heat off of the Truma system. So great point. I'm not quite sure on the propane consumption. I think I'm having some regulator issues. Lily is going into the doctor next week because I filled the propane tank full, and then within 48 hours it's down to half, and I haven't used any propane. So I really can't comment on how much propane this type of heating system uses compared to electricity, which I can measure pretty carefully because of the lithium gauge. So stay tuned on that. I don't have a good answer on that, but it is absolutely true, Northwester, that the Truma on 12 volt running propane only is much more efficient and way less energy draw on the electrical system from a battery standpoint. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Stay tuned on the propane update. Stay tuned. Right, and the next question comes from Motor City Prepper, who I believe has asked some questions before, and I think we've answered them on camera. So thank you again for a great question here. So Motor City Prepper wants to know, how about turning on your dash heat when the engine cycles to do a charge on demand or an auto start in the middle of the night? You could let a lot of heat into the coach and maybe minimize engine cycles. And you know, Motor City, you're exactly right. I've tried that. So this is probably more of a personal preference than a technical issue. And what I've found is I enjoy being a cool sleeper, meaning I like a cool environment versus hot. So what I've found is even having the temperature gauge, let me show you this. So I actually have the engine going right now while I'm filming this, because it is cool outside. It's 54 degrees outside. Thank you, Chicago. Welcome to spring. But what I found is even in kind of a low mode here like this, and then having the heat turned down like this, and kind of blow the air over into the cab, that it really gets pretty warm. So about 20-30 minutes into the energy generation cycle, it's too damned warm in here for me to sleep comfortably, so I have to get out of bed to turn the dash heat off so I can go back to bed. Now, and it does kind of trick the thermostat for a while to say, hey, we don't need any more heat. So it probably, to your point, does minimize the cycles, but the cabin temperature fluctuates really wildly versus having a very consistent, 67, 68 degrees, 70 up front, and about 66 back in the back, which is perfect for me. So it's a great point. I would recommend everybody try that out. For my purposes, it put too much heat to let me sleep comfortably through the night. Once the initial, I'll call it shock of the engine starting by itself, once you kind of have that, it's like, oh yeah, the engine started doing its job, and you go back to sleep. Then you go back to, then I go back to sleep very, very easily. But if I find the dash heat is on, I inevitably have to get up and turn it on, which then kind of wakes me up and interrupts my sleep more so than the engine turning on by itself. Hopefully that makes sense. I would recommend trying that for yourself. It's certainly been my case, just to let the system run. And in the morning, if I need to put a little more juice in for that extra one cycle, not a big deal. Great idea. Really glad you brought it up. Tested it. That's just my sleep pattern situation. Thanks for the question. So the last question of the night comes from Cheryl Kuhn, K-U-H-N, Kuhn. Has a couple questions. Cheryl asks about the size of sheets did you buy for the bed. We're going to go to that in just a second. But then she follows on by saying, tell me about the width and length of the entrance size rug. That'd be this guy right here, to catch the dirt. That is a great question, Cheryl. And let me, Cheryl Charming, here you go. Let's do some measurements. So let's talk about the rug quick. And I think I ripped the tag off. Yep. Actually like a doormat from Walmart. And it's actually kind of dirty. Yuck, sorry guys. Let me make that a little prettier for us. So this is just like a simple basic kitchen rug that I got at Walmart, and it's pretty flimsy, but it works absolutely perfectly. It's not thick pile, and let's see what the size might be here, because I've actually cut it. So my guess is it was probably 24 inches, which is 2 feet by 18 inches. And what I've actually done is cut it. I don't know if you guys can see that, to fit this space. You see that? So again, really kind of a flimsy rug. The space in the entry here is 23, functional 23 by measuring off of the aluminum bright line here to the edge of the cabinet right here, which I'm concerned is 18 inches. So again, this rug fits perfectly. I just cut a couple inches off, and it just fits in here just like that. And it just kind of blends in because it's dark brown. I didn't want anything kind of gaudy here. And this does a great job of just keeping on, some of the big dirt out as you step into the coach. So great. So Cheryl would like to know about the sheets. And so let's put the bed down and read the tags. It's a great question. All right, so with the bed down, let's take a look at this sheet size. So what I've found is that this is the mattress cover, and this is a full, sometimes called a twin, but this is from Walmart. And then the actual sheet size is right here. Hopefully you can see this. We'll zoom in that for you guys. So this is a full-size sheet. And again, for my sleeping purposes, because I like to sleep cold, is I just have the bottom sheet. Don't need a top sheet for me, and I actually use this duvet cover without the padding, which is kind of a double-walled sheet sack, which is kind of weird, right? And just a single pillow. So that's what I use. So to answer the question specifically, Cheryl, what I have found works best is a full size, which technically this bed is almost a full size, for the sheet and for the mattress pad. Great question. So with that, let's run outside with the bed down now and finish Mary Beth's question on can you demo opening the rear door when the bed is in the down position, which it clearly is now. So let's go open the door. All right, we'll step outside. You're gonna reach through to open the back cargo doors. I just snagged on my shirt. There goes the rolling paper towels. So what I'm using this little bit of space for, let me show you this. So the bed is clearly down. This is garage storage. This is the grill. And I'm actually using this couple inches in the back. You see that okay? For storage. So I have the grill in about probably, I don't know, probably 8-10 inches from the actual closing of the door, which is right here. See that? So this extra 8 inches here between the grill and the door, I'm using for storage. So I got some Miller Lite, some water, and some water or some cans here. So this is kind of what this looks like. And this works out really well because it's kind of underutilized space, because this doesn't really go in any further. I actually don't want it in any further, so it creates this little storage area here. Here's my wash wand, which is not appropriately stored, but I'm being lazy, so I'll put that right there. So here again is the bed in the down position, doors open. So hopefully that demonstrates that, again, it's very, very simple to use the doors with the bed down. It is not a big deal. And again, with this bike rack, you can leave the bikes on to access the doors, which is great. And make sure they don't hit the side of the van. And that's it. It's fully accessible, garage storage space, bed down. The doors function as you would expect. So, great question. Hopefully that helped. Right. So with that, I hope you got something out of that today. It's been a crazy week here in former home base, Illinois. I've been doing my employer LexTech Team Week all week, so I've been doing the corporate cube thing all week. It's been great to see the team. They've loved learning about my van life journey, and they really love touring Lily. Just so much interest in that. Thank you for liking. That's giving a thumb up to the video. Appreciate that. Share if you know somebody looking at Class B RVs or just kind of curious about this whole thing. Please share. Love to have comments. You know, how are you using your bed, your garage storage? Do you have plants in your RV? Would you like to have plants in your RV? Share that with the audience, and click the bell. That way you get notified when new videos come out. We're doing 2 to 3 videos a week. I might be scaling this down to just 2 a week. 3 has been really tough for me to keep up with. So again, thank you for everything you guys do for me, which is to push me forward. And collectively, we are getting out of our comfort zones. I gotta tell you, some of the stories I'm hearing, and it just warms my heart. It's just the coolest thing. We learn and share together. So with that, I wish you to journey on. So the next question comes from, whoa, from a falling camera. That's not good. Here we go. Come on. There we go. All right. So